Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 2021. Today we're going to check out the new Formula 2 cars, 2021 Formula 2 cars that have just been added to the game, and we'll test them out in China with the new weekend format with the two sprint races. First up, we'll have a quick look at the teams and drivers. Car number one for Prema is Robert Schwartzman, and you can easily tell his car apart from the other Prema by the extra splash of colour on the halo, as well as the wings and down the sides of the car. Oscar Piastri, the other Prema driver in car 2, championship leader in Formula 2 at the moment with 1 round to go. Barring any major surprises, he will surely go on to win the championship. Unfortunately, not going to get a drive in Formula 1. That drive will go to Guan Yu Zhou, driver of car number 3, and he's had much success in Formula 2 over the past 3 years, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do in Formula 1. He's never really had a lot of luck on his side, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in Formula 1. His teammate Felipe Dragovich, car number 4 in the UNI-Virtuosi stable, and I actually expected a bit more from Dragovich this season after a few wins with MP Motorsports last year. I thought he could even be a title contender. Hasn't played out that way for Dragovich this year. Moving on to car number 5, Dan Ticktum. He is, I think, mathematically out of the title fight now, but he was close there in amongst it for a while this year, and that move to Carlin this year has worked well for him. His teammate is Jay Deruvala, the Indian driver, and he's been in amongst it as well this year, but overall, again, not really a genuine title contender with Piastre, Zhou and Schwartzman. But anyway, moving on to the high-tech team. Very confusing that there's multiple teams with Red Bull liveries, both Liam Lawson and Yuri Vips in high-tech and Deruvala in Carlin. You can generally tell them apart by their other sponsors, but there is Yuri Vips, the Estonian driver, in the other high-tech car. But yeah, 3 Red Bull liveried cars in Formula 2. They can be difficult to tell apart at first glance, but yes, that is cars 5, 6, 7 and 8 from those teams, Carlin and high-tech. Next up is Christian Lungard for ART in car number 9, and he has been a bit quiet this season, nowhere near where his teammate is. Of course, his teammate Teo Porcher moving up to Formula 2 at a very young age, but he's been a very successful driver this season, of course winning on the streets of Monaco, one of the highlights of his season, and he'll be looking to end the season on a high if indeed he races after that nasty start line incident in Saudi Arabia. Car number 11 is the MP Motorsports car of Richard Verschoor. Last minute deal to get him in at the start of the season, and he's competed most of the season until he was replaced by Duan Novalak, who moved up along with Larim Zendelli, who was alongside Verschoor for most of the season, but again he was replaced by the Formula 3 drivers moving up to Formula 2 at the end of the year. But Zendelli still in the game. Continuing through, we have car number 14, Enzo Fitzpaudi, and he again was caught up in that incident in Saudi Arabia on the start, and he won't be competing in the final round, so I think he's being replaced by Verschoor. Guilherme Samaya, yet to score points this season, and well, let's be honest, I'll be a bit surprised if he does, but crazier things have happened. Mahavir Raghunathan did score points, so you never know. Continuing through, we have Roy Nassani in the Dams car, and Dams been a bit quiet this year, considering they were fighting for the title with Nicholas Latifi not too long ago. Marcus Armstrong getting his first win in Formula 2 with the Dams team last time out. It's the best result the Dams team have had for a little while, to be honest. Continuing through, Ralph Boschung for Campos, and he has earned a podium finish in Saudi Arabia. A long time coming for Ralph Boschung, I think, so let's hope he can continue that, as he will be sticking around in Formula 2 for another year. As we continue through, David Beckman in the other Campos car, and he has since lost his drive at that team. as has Jack Aiken, although that was due to injuries after a crash at Spa. But Jack Aiken driving the HWA car in the game alongside the legend that is Alessio Deletta. And well, let's see if he is 5 or 6 seconds off the pace in the game as well as in real life. Finally, the Trident team and Ben Viscal has earned some of Trident's biggest results ever for that team in Formula 2. He's been doing great things for Trident this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's returning next year. He's already scored 2 podiums, which is 2 more than they've had in the past. But anyway, lastly, Marino Sato. I think he scored 1 point this season, and he is the final driver on the list. But let's get into a race.
The race is about to begin here in China, and what a race it should be. This circuit is always amazing to watch, and today shouldn't be any different. I cannot wait for us to get started here. On what was originally marshland, the stunning state-of-the-art circuit that you see before you was built in 2003 at a cost of around $450 million. The circuit is very popular for both fans and drivers of the sport, offering complex low-speed turns, very fast G-force inducing curves, and high-speed straights, which always provide thrilling, unforgettable race day experiences for everyone.
Alright, so here we are on the grid for the first sprint race here in Shanghai. We go to the 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go for sprint race 1 in China. And it's a decent start as we get off our fairly lowly position after a not very great qualifying effort. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage from qualifying because the ever reliable recording system on the Xbox managed to lose a lot of footage. And in fact, I was lucky to notice that before getting too far into this race, because I had to restart it to actually record it properly. But anyway, as we fight our way through the opening few corners, losing out there on the exit of the left-hander, but gaining those 2 positions back as we charge down the inside once again, now side by side with our teammate Felipe Dragovich, and we don't quite get that one back, and we slot in behind Dragovich for the time being, but up into 14th now. So an okay start, could have been better, but we'll try and make more places as the race goes on. As we go through this long right-hander though, being able to carry the speed around the outside, up the inside of Dragovich, and that was a nice move there, and it's a good way of carrying the speed through that right-hander and put us alongside Dragovich into the braking zone, so that worked well for us. And as we continue forward, we go down the inside of not only Schwartzman but also the Dams car there, as we fight side by side with Marcus Armstrong, and we will get through against the Kiwi driver and move ourselves up into 11th position and 1 spot away from a reverse grid pole. As there's an incident back there with Marcus Armstrong as he went for a spin out of the final corner. What happened there with the Dams driver? Let's see on board with Armstrong. He sends it up the inside into the final corner from nowhere, and he went for a half spin. Thankfully he was able to continue on, but that's going to ruin the race for Marcus Armstrong. As we continue on though, we are still in 11th position, and we're now on lap 12 in this race, so a long way into this race, and we haven't really gained a lot of ground versus the cars ahead. So yeah, it's been a bit of a long, frustrating one, but anyway, we will continue to fight our way forwards and continue to get more positions as the race goes on. So now we're right behind Ben Viscal. We might have a chance to go for a move as we have a little half look up the inside into the final corner. That was never going to be an overtake, but I thought if I could make him look in mirrors and defend, I might be able to make something work. But meanwhile, Oscar Piastri retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and he will take no further part in this one. There was actually a bit of contact there with another car, which we'll see now. It was Richard Verschoor, and he was charging down towards the hairpin as Oscar Piastri was having that engine failure, and he does his best impersonation of Lewis Hamilton and runs into the back of a slow moving car, despite there being piles of space on the other side. But anyway, Richard Verschoor needs to pit for a new front wing and puts a new set of tyres on as he does so, and that will actually come out of his tyre bank for the weekend, so that will affect him come race 3. But anyway, we go down the inside of yet another car as they have a mechanical failure. That was Teo Porcher, and as that happened, Alessio Deleda, who qualified really well in this race. He qualified, I think, about 5th or 6th, but he made a bit of contact with Porcher as Porcher was retiring, and that's a front wing change for Alessio Deleda as well. But yeah, I should touch on that in qualifying. It was a weird old qualifying order, and we'll get to that when we see the grid sequence for the feature race. But Deleda, yeah, qualified around 5th or 6th position, and it was very, very strange to see, and that wasn't the only one. Meanwhile, that was Yuri Vips taking avoiding action of Porcher as well, and just avoiding contact, so that's how it's done. But yeah, it was a very close one there, but all those issues have put us up into 7th position, despite the fact we're actually losing pace now. We can't keep up with Ben Viscal anymore, who qualified very well. But that's another mechanical issue. That is Roy Nassani, and he retires with a big engine failure. Look at all that smoke coming out the back of his dam's car, and here is the look from Richard Verschoor, who is down the back after that issue, and you can just see that amount of smoke. But up ahead, the race winner is David Beckman in the Campos, and that is certainly not a result I expected, but David Beckman wins in Formula 2 in China for Campos. That is a great result for him, and as we come around the final corner, we're going to cross the line for 7th.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And that brings to an end a actually relatively uneventful race for us personally. So hopefully there'll be more action in the later ones.
Brilliant stuff from Campos today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think this race was won thanks to the tyre management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Campos have come a really long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
So David Beckman wins for Campos. Dan Ticktum finishes in 2nd position with Liam Lawson in 3rd.
After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So there we have it, the end of the first race of the weekend, and we managed to go from 16th on the grid up into 7th. So not a bad race, but yeah, we really struggled to make a lot of progress in that one. So that was unfortunate that we couldn't quite chase down the likes of Ben Viscal, who were just a little bit too quick up ahead. But nonetheless, we will start 4th after the top 10 are reversed for the next race. So that's great news for us, I believe. The front row will be Lungard and Schwartzman, if memory serves me right, from the results screen a moment ago. But yeah, we had a good battle at the start, made some places there, but after this field spread out, we just didn't quite have the pace to make any more overtakes, unfortunately. But I'm sure we will be able to do better in the next one. Starting in a higher position, we should be able to fight for a little bit more in that one, so looking forward to doing that. But yeah, as I kind of mentioned, the qualifying session for this was really weird. It started off in the rain and ended in the dry, and I think that's how the grid ended up so mixed up with the likes of Beckman on reverse grid pole, and the actual high qualifiers, I mean, of course included Deleda, which yeah, was very weird. I think Oscar Piastre was around 5th or 6th place, and yeah, of course, no Guan Yu Zhou near the front, because that was me, and I qualified down the back. But yeah, even Felipe Dragovich, who you would expect to be near the front, Robert Schwartzman should be near the front. None of them were really up there at the top, so it was very strange. But anyway, we will move on to Sprint Race 2. The top 10 of these results will be reversed to form the grid for Sprint Race 2. So yeah, that will give us a great starting position of 4th. So let's just get into it.
The race is about to begin here in China, and what a race it should be. This circuit is always amazing to watch, and today shouldn't be any different. I cannot wait for us to get started here.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down, Jefferoni. So, heading into this race, a little bit of rain at the end, but I don't think we'll actually get to that. That's right at the end of the time scale, and I don't think a sprint race is actually long enough to get to that point. But anyway, 5 red lights and away we go for Sprint Race 2 in China. And off the second row, we get a decent start versus our teammate who we're starting alongside. And now we'll try and sneak up the inside. No, we're never going to get up there. And we stay in 4th position for the time being, trying to carry the speed, trying to maybe take a look around the outside and get the inside for the next corner. That wasn't going to work for us though, and we slot in behind our teammate and hold 4th position and just worry about fending off the cars behind for now, because we have some racy looking drivers trying to make as much ground as they can at the start. UNI-Virtuosi there taking a look up the inside. We cover that one off and make sure he cannot find his way through, with Ben Viscal there looking around as well. Viscal actually comes out on top as they were running side by side. But we continue on to the back straight, and now we're sitting in the slipstream of our teammate Felipe Dragovich. So let's see if we can get up the inside of our teammate into the hairpin. We're getting a good tow here, and we're going to have a look to the inside. Dragovich defends fairly late there, but we were allowing some space for that. And we got up the inside and made that move nicely on our teammate, and that brings us up into 3rd position. Next up, as we head out of the long right-hander, once again we're getting very close to the back of the ART car there of Christian Lungard. Now we look up the inside as we head towards the hairpin. Once again, it worked for us before, and up the inside it worked for us again, and we make the move on Christian Lungard, and that brings us up into 2nd position. Next up is the race leader Robert Schwartzman in the Prema, and seems like we have much better pace in this race, so that's great news for us, and it means we will be able to fight for the victory, assuming we're not burning up our tyres driving this quickly. So here we go then, and this time we have DRS advantage as well, so we're going to blaze straight past Robert Schwartzman here. We're even going to go to the outside as he leaves that door wide open for us, and we are able to make the move right around the outside of Robert Schwartzman, and we make a stick and get up into the lead of the 2nd sprint race here in China. And it is only a mere few laps into the race. Lap number 3 of 23 in this one, now into lap 4. So yeah, still plenty of distance to go in this race, and we will need it, because that's a mistake there as we go for a half spin as we conclude the 2nd sector on the 6th lap of the race. Just a little slide on the curb, and that has spun us around, and now we have plenty of work to do as we tried to get back up the inside of Marino Sato there, but didn't work out for us, and we slid in behind him once again. So that's unfortunate, and we're going to have to re-overtake him. We just couldn't get the car stopped with grass and who knows what else all over the tyres, so we need to get a move on once again. So here we go, getting back past Marino Sato on the exit of the long right-hander, and we are starting to forge that comeback. Next up is UNI-Virtuosi in the high-tech car, so let's see if we can get up the inside of him. We might be able to do it actually down the inside into the hairpin, and that's 2 overtakes in 2 corners as we get past the Estonian driver and move our way up and into 7th position in this race, so still way behind even where we started, but we are making progress back through the field slowly enough. But now moving on to lap number 8, and there is an issue up ahead, and that is Felipe Dragovich, who retires from the race with a mechanical failure. So unfortunate for our teammate there. He is out of the sprint. Yeah, this is the second sprint race here in China. I'm going to get very confused which race we're up to on occasion with this weekend format, but nonetheless we catch up to Lirim Zendelli, the German driver in the MP Motorsports car, and we sit behind the MP Motorsports car with an inverted livery this year. The complete inverse of what they used to run, as we make a very late move there as we were too late on the brakes, could barely get a stop for the corner, but we were able to get ahead of David Beckman. A bit of contact made though with the other German in the field, in David Beckman, and I think he actually yeah, there you can see he made a pit stop after that, so unfortunately a bit of damage there for David Beckman. Didn't mean to do that, but oh well, it happens. Now around the outside of Ben Viscal, up the inside of the next right-hander. Viscal leaves us the room, and we're able to get through there. That was a good effort from Viscal to see us coming, but that was a nice move to get alongside around the outside of that left-hander. Here it is on replay, and you can see Viscal just opened the door there as we were charging into that right-hander, a little bit out of control. So great work by Viscal to give us some space there. But now continuing on, we're up into 3rd position, so really fighting our way through the field quite rapidly, and now we get down the inside of Christian Lungard once again, and that moves us up into 2nd with only Robert Schwartzman ahead of us once again, and we have 10 laps to go. We move on, and there's a lot less than that as we move on to lap 16, so we are quickly running out of time, but thankfully we do catch up to Schwartzman by the end of this lap, now trying to make the overtake on the Russian, proving more difficult, or in actual fact he's got the world flag beside his name now, even though in Formula 2 in real life he is allowed to run with the Russian flag. It's a very confusing system, but anyway, we couldn't quite get past Schwartzman on that occasion, so we will go again a lap later on lap 17. This time we're much closer side by side now as we head along the back straight, and we will cruise past the Russian with the DRS, and we are able to easily make that move and make our way up and into the lead of the sprint race 2 here in China. And now all we have to do is hold this through to the end of the race, and we should be able to come away with the victory. But unfortunately that is not the case, as Schwartzman is going to come back to us as we started losing a bit of pace towards the end, and Schwartzman gets the move done. But as we try to get back up the inside, Schwartzman moves across in the braking zone and dives to the apex as we're still up the inside. Heavy damage to both of our cars, and that is going to potentially ruin the chance for both of us to win the race. We send it back up the inside and give him a little bit of payback for his trouble as we get up on the curb, and a lot of wheel spin there. But what was Schwartzman doing there as we tried to get back up the inside, moving in the braking zone, and then that on the apex is ridiculous. The angle that he hit us is just insane. Look here, definitely moved across there, but look how hard he turned into the apex there, as we were still fully alongside. We couldn't go anywhere at that point. We're still committed to the inside line. Schwartzman just turning hard across in front of us, and well, we have almost a T-bone situation with our front wings, and it's heavy damage for both of us. As we continue on though, you can see Schwartzman has dropped down the order. He has decided not to make a pit stop, but we're trying to hold off Zendelli. A big slide though on the exit of the second sector. It's the second time this race we've had issues with that corner. We're just about going to hold on to second position, but we've lost the lead here to Zendelli on the final lap. So Lirim Zendelli has been able to make his way through the chaos. He's passed Lungard as well, so he's been very quick, has the young German, and he is going to potentially get away with the victory here unless we can do something about it into the hairpin. But he's a long way ahead. We will have the advantage of the DRS, so we have that on our side, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We're not closing to him at all, so Zendelli's going to do it here as we're as late on the brakes as we dare, but we just can't get close enough at all to do anything about Lirim Zendelli. So on the final lap, he's going to be able to make it stick here around the final corner. Larim Zandelli wins Sprint Race 2 here in China. Will come across the line for P2.
Yes, 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 we're on the podium. Good job this weekend, great drive, thank you.
And considering the events of that race, getting away with a podium is probably not a bad result, all things considered.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I'm not sure what we just saw, but one thing's for sure. Today's winner has certainly showed they have no fear battling it out on the track. And who can blame them? I don't think I've ever seen someone get through the competition so quickly. Today's race was a sight to behold, and judging from the crowd's reaction, it went down well with the fans as well.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the MP Motorsport team, and I'm very happy to see them up there on the top step of the podium.
So Larim Zandelli wins for MP Motorsport. We finish up in second position with Christian Lungard in third.
That's it for today's race. From Davide and I, it's goodbye, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
So that is the end of Sprint Race 2, and well, not an ideal race for us. Was going well, but as soon as we got to the lead, I don't know if I just lost concentration or if the tyre wear started to really affect us, but whatever the case was, I didn't have the same pace as I did when we were chasing, and yeah, I really lost out there. But ultimately, I don't know what Schwartzman was doing, moving across in the braking zone like that. It was a bit silly. Of course, we were going to make contact at that point as I was, going back up the inside. Just moved across. I couldn't really avoid it at that point. So that was unfortunate. Damaged both of our cars. We managed to come away with second position. Schwartzman dropped off the podium, but he surprisingly didn't decide to make a pit stop and change that front wing. Usually, well, yeah, the AI normally change the front wing when they damage it, even if it is close to the end of the race. So, yeah, there was the spin, as you just saw in the background, as I'm talking about all this, and that's put us back in the pack. Made the race a lot more exciting, though otherwise we would have just been cruising to the end. But yeah, it certainly made things a bit harder than they needed to be. And ultimately cost us the race because we had to re-overtake Schwartzman, and that's what caused that issue. That was a spin there. I didn't actually catch that at the time. We're only seeing it now for the first time, actually watching these highlights properly. So yeah, a few mistakes coming in for some of the AI drivers, and there is the contact with David Beckman that I alluded to earlier, and he had to change his front wing off that, so that was unfortunate for the winner of race 1. But there is the defining moment of the race. Robert Schwartzman just moving ever so slightly to the right as we hit the anchors for the hairpin, and that was enough to damage our front wing, put us a bit out of control as we were heading into the braking zone, and we were not able to avoid contact with Schwartzman as he did not leave any room on the apex there. But let's get into the feature race, the main one of the weekend.
The race is about to begin here in China, and what a race it should be. This circuit is always amazing to watch, and today shouldn't be any different. I cannot wait for us to get started here. On what was originally marshland, the stunning state-of-the-art circuit that you see before you was built in 2003 at a cost of around $450 million. The circuit is very popular for both fans and drivers of the sport, offering complex low-speed turns, very fast G-force inducing curves, and high-speed straights, which always provide thrilling, unforgettable race day experiences for everyone. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads? As the engineers make their last inspection of the cars, let's take a look at today's grid order for the race. Yuri Vips will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from him. A very happy Ben Viscal will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have, for sure, Deleda, Oscar Piastri, and Zendelli, Lawson, Pourchaire, Beckman, Daniel Ticktum, Viscal, Armstrong, Felipe Dragovich, and Schwartzman, Deruvala, Joe, Lungard, and Marino Sato, Aitkit, Samaya, Nassani, and Ralph Boschong completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the feature race here in China, and as you can see, the recommended strategy that almost everyone else is going to use as well is to start on the mediums and go to softs at the end. But as you can see, it's actually going to rain around about 10 minutes into this race, so that is really well, we need to start on the soft tyres, to put it simply. So that is what we are going to do as we head to the 5 red lights, and away we go. And it's a great start on our soft compound tyres versus everyone else on the mediums, and we're trying to have a look up the inside into the first corner. No space there. We return to the outside line and try and find some space out here as we round up a few cars through the first corner. We're actually getting through a lot of the traffic here on the outside line, as the track was just opening up for us out there, and we're able to go from our starting position down in 16th all the way up into 11th, so 5 places gained through the first corner alone. So let's see if we can keep that momentum going throughout the end of this first lap. Up the inside of a couple more cars now into the beginnings of the second sector, and that is more positions going for us as we're up into 10th, so we're overtaking Marcus Armstrong there, now sitting in behind the Campos car of David Beckman. Can we make a move up the inside as we head around the outside here, and we will get up the inside on through the left-hander and get ahead of David Beckman, and now shift attention to Teo Pourchaire once again back in the fight after he had a mechanical failure earlier in the weekend. Once you have that mechanical failure in the the first sprint race, it ruins your second sprint race, and we didn't really see much of him in that one despite his good qualifying performance. But now we get to see him as we have a good run here as we head down towards the hairpin, and we will try and get up the inside. Pourchaire defending quite harshly though, so we'll have to return to the outside line as we brake late, but Pourchaire turns defense into attack as he goes up the inside and makes the move stick. Just about there, a little bit of a bad exit though, unfortunately for Pourchaire, not able to quite make the move stick, and we slide up the inside of the Frenchman as he was getting a little bit too excited there, I think, but at the prospects of getting past Larim Zendelli, but Zendelli able to hold on as we get ahead of Teo Pourchaire. Now we catch up to Larim Zendelli, and we actually had a bit too much of a good run there out of the long right-hander, and we look rearwards from Zendelli as we close up to the gearbox of the MP car. We have a look to the inside and we head down towards the hairpin once again, late on the brakes, and we get ahead of Larim Zendelli, and that moves us up into 7th position, so making great progress through the field. Next up is Oscar Piastri, who we also didn't see too much of in the earlier races after his mechanical failure, so hopefully we'll be able to have a better battle with him as this race goes on. He is in behind Liam Lawson at the moment, but Deleda, who is back at the front again after his crazy qualifying performance, he is still holding on to a good position, not really losing too much time, so it's quite surprising that Deleda has been able to hold on to that. But as the rain continues to get heavier, we actually make a pit stop onto the wet compound tyres earlier than everyone else, but I feel like it's time as we're very cautious on the way into pits there, and we will now get those wet compound tyres on the car, because I don't want to risk going another lap on slicks. We're already losing pace, and we sat behind Piastre for quite a while when the rain was starting to fall, and now that the track is proper wet, I think these are the tyres to be on, so that is exactly what we are going to do. But meanwhile, that is Felipe Dragovich off the left-hand side of the road there. You may have seen briefly, he retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so that is unfortunate for Dragovich, but nonetheless we continue on, and once everyone else makes their stops a lap later, we re-emerge in the 7th position and in behind Piastre once again. So nothing has changed there, and well, other than that Dragovich is now no longer in the race. But another issue there, that's Piastre, as he is just on his outlap, has retired with a mechanical failure. So Oscar Piastre, no luck this weekend, and that's a double mechanical failure for him, so that's really unfortunate for Oscar Piastre. Dragovich as well with the mechanical issues. But anyway, we continue on and catch up to Alessio Daleda and go up the inside of him and make the move stick. I also think Liam Lawson has dropped out of the train. I think he maybe had to double stack behind UNI-Virtuosi, but I thought he was ahead of us, and now I can't see him on the list, so I think Liam Lawson had lost time double stacking, but that's just a guess. Next up is Richard Bashaw, who we are closing into at the moment, and we'll get up the inside of him into the hairpin once again. So now in the proper wet conditions on the correct tyres, we do have decent pace. It was just in the sort of crossover phase where we're a little bit slow using the slick tyres on the damp track. When in those tricky changeable conditions, it didn't really suit us too well, but now that we're in the zone on these tyres, we are going well again. But just as we catch up to Ben Viscal, it's actually time to swap back onto the dry compound tyres. I know it doesn't look like it, the rain is still falling, the track still looks very wet, but there's no intermediates, so the crossover point is actually a lot wetter than what you would usually expect when you're on intermediate tyres. The wet tyres just, to the point where the track's dry enough and they don't really work. We actually got held up in pit lane there by the other cars entering the lane, so that cost us some time. And as we look forward, that is Ben Viscal leaving his box there, so you can see how much time we lost to the Trident driver, and he resumed his racing up in 2nd position, so he's having a great run here in China, is Ben Viscal. And Deruvala is yet to make his final stop. That's why we're sitting in 4th position at the moment. So as we continue on, we will make our way past Ben Viscal as we get up to speed and get our tyres fired up a bit faster than the Dutchman, and we make our way up into 3rd position. And now Deruvala will make his final stop. Speaking of Deruvala, a few laps later, he goes for a spin through the right-hander, the long snail-like section at the start of the lap, and he may be struggling to get his tyres up to temperature, goes for a spin, and now has to wait for the field to go by before he gets racing once again. So that'll be the end of his hopes in the feature race, and he tumbles down to the back of the grid. So that's unfortunate, back of the field. So that's unfortunate for Jane Deruvala. Here's a replay, and yeah, not exactly sure about that one. Just all of a sudden the car just swapped ends on him, and you could hear him revving the engine, trying to keep the car pointing in the right direction, and hoping not to reverse the thing into a wall. So that was lucky for Deruvala. But anyway, we continue on and now catch up to UNI-Virtuosi in the other Red Bull car, not the teammate of Jane Deruvala, as we have a look up the inside, and we'll just about sneak through here on the inside of UNI-Virtuosi. But Virtuosi with a good exit as we run side by side. Virtuosi is going to hold on and retake the lead through the final corner, and we have to slot in behind the Estonian once again as we make our way onto lap number 21, nearing about the 2/3 point in this race. So we need to seriously start thinking about getting this race lead. So as we close up to Vips once again in the braking zone of the hairpin, we're close now. We might be able to make a move along the main straight with the DRS if we can get a good exit out of the final corner. So here we go, sitting in behind Yuri Vips, trying to line up a good exit. DRS open in the slipstream with the Red Bull High Tech. And now we may have a chance to get up the inside of the first corner. We're going to go for a look and we'll make the move down the inside and get ahead of Yuri Vips. And that was a late move. We just about pulled it off as we leave some more space on the inside there just in case he wanted to get back up the inside. But we hold on to the lead now ahead of Yuri Vips. And we will try our best to hold this for the rest of the race. And that will be a few laps away yet. We're only on lap 23. Meanwhile, there is another issue, another mechanical failure, that one for Guilherme Samaya. He retires at the final corner. But anyway, we continue on. This is now Marino Sato. He goes for a spin as well. And that is at... well, I call it the second snail. I'm not sure if the corner has any proper names. I don't know the numbers around this one, but yeah, Marino Sato having a similar issue to Daruvla, just the car swapping ends, and he goes for a tumble down the order, and he's going to lose a lot of time. You can see all the cars going past, and he just has to wait for every single one of them before he can safely get going again. So that's really unfortunate for Sato. But thankfully he's able to get the car rolling and continue to move on in this race, and he will be able to finish at the very least. But he tumbles down to the back of the order after running quite well in the race so far. But other than that, then we actually get the notification that the race has come to an end. And a lap early because the 1 hour time limit has been hit. So that is the end of this one as we round the final corner. We're going to win this feature race here in China.
Great drive. We did it. Good job.
So yeah, a lap early, but a win nonetheless. Driver of the day as well after coming from 16th. That's no real surprise.
A great win then for the UNI-Virtuosi team today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
What a race, Alex. Every so often we get a spectacle like we did today. Less focus on strategy and time management, and more on just pushing it to the limits and battling it out for those top positions. I think what we experienced today is evidence of why Formula 2 is continuing to draw into crowds. And expect today's race will definitely be turning a few more heads to the series.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic race. Here they come, your top three, out onto the podium.
So we win the feature race here in China. Yuri Vips takes home second position with Bent Viscal in third.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you there. Take care.
So that brings an end to this first, I guess, test round of Formula 2. To be honest, not a huge fan of the format. I understand why they did it for cost saving, traveling less, etc. But yeah, I'm glad they're reverting back to something a little bit more traditional as of next year. But still, it's what we have to deal with for this. But anyway, yeah, commenting on the cars themselves, obviously they're not going to change. The Formula 2 cars have been the same for years now, so nothing really changing there. I did find the selection of drivers kind of interesting though, because this specific set of drivers that they've picked for the F1 game didn't actually all compete in the same race at any point, if that makes sense. No race in the season actually had this field of drivers specifically, so yeah, that's a bit of interesting little trivia point more than anything else. But anyway, not hugely consequential thing. But anyway, yeah. Other than that, though, there's really not a lot left to cover. A decent weekend for us in terms of being able to score the race win in the end in that last race after lacking a lot of pace at the start, and the rain made things very interesting as well. I will mention quickly the mechanical failures. They seem to affect the same drivers a little bit over the course of a weekend. If the driver gets one, they tend to, well, they sometimes get more than one. And I've noticed that ever since they first introduced the Formula 2 cars. I think it was back in F1 2019. I remember, I think it was Nico Kari that had 2 retirements at Monza. But anyway, that's all there is to cover for this one. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments, and I will see you later.